I've had clients who have just been canceled by the anti-money laundering regulations. When you get canceled, you're like cut out of the financial system. It can really destroy you financially. You just can't get money out of the bank. ATMs aren't giving you anything. Very destructive.
You can really see when there's another agenda at play. And what cryptocurrency is, as we know, is it's like an asset class where you can have sovereignty of your own wealth, and it's very much outside of the chessboard when it comes to usual transactions.
Everybody, hey, thanks very much for joining the Crypto Tax Fixer Show. Clinton Donnelly here, and I'm very excited to have with us Sam Boyle from Caleb & Brown, which has been one of the most popular exchanges that my clients have worked with over the years. Caleb & Brown is an Australian-based cryptocurrency exchange. You know, it's been a survivor. It's outlived, Cryptopia. It's outlived FTX, outlived Poloniex. It's because they have sound management of their funds, appropriate business practices, separation of funds, and all the basic and advanced fund management skills that you would expect of a firm that's based in Australia. So, Sam, thanks very much for joining us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you and the company?
Thank you very much, Clinton. It's a great introduction. And to give you a bit of background of Caleb & Brown, we started in 2016. And back then, we were all in crypto. A lot of the main founders, as well as myself, we were all in crypto way back before 2016, from 2011, 2012. Me, myself, I was in crypto in 2015. And we back then were all helping out friends and family in the crypto space with what to look out for on exchanges when it comes to wallet storage and security, and the way in which you can trade from crypto to crypto or get into the market or out of the market in bull markets. And what we started to notice, we're helping our friends and family. They started referring friends and family to us as well. And then we realized we're actually solving quite a major problem in this crypto space. And from there, the brokerage was started. I was, luckily one of the first employees back then, and was able to help out with the foundation of Caleb & Brown, which is a lot of fun. And ever since then, we've applied that same, I guess you would call it, ethos to our clients when it comes to friends and family back then, to the 30, nearly 40,000 clients we have now. When it comes to buying, selling, swapping, depositing, withdrawing, there's just people along the way, and we want to be the most customer-focused crypto company in the world.
Well, that's great. I mean, you guys are obviously doing it because of, so many of my customers who are investing with you, they're very happy, very satisfied, and they're multi-year investors. They just aren't walking away. They really find a trusted partner with you guys. So tell me, what type of client is most attracted to investing their money through Caleb & Brown?
Good question. So a lot of our clients over the years, some have been in crypto for a very long time. Some are crypto native. Some are actually cryptocurrency projects or crypto companies that have like a treasury and Tether or even stable coins or their native token that they need to liquidate through us. A lot of clients are like, they'd buy or sell $500 to $1,000 here and there. Some clients are looking to trade upwards of $10 million with us in different altcoins. And we trade over 300 different coins. That's buying, selling, and swapping. And what we've noticed is that over the years, a lot of these exchanges have gotten themselves into hot water. They're jumping into too many third-party product offerings. They state there might be like a 1% fee, then they have additional percentages on the spreads or price premiums of coins. And so the transparency is starting to go away, whether it be on the fees and the pricing or the actual security and storage. And while we've had these big issues happen with FTX or, Celsius, BlockFi, and all these big exchanges, even some exchanges that are around today that had some issues in the past, that's caused a lot of just, everyday investors to come to us to have that assurance that when it is time to sell, when it is time to trade, they're able to do that without issue. And this year, or over last year, every month, it's just been busier and busier leading up to the bull market. And this year, with the new administration, in the US, some exciting stuff happening there. The end of a bear market potentially, and a real kickstart, a rough kickstart, but a kickstart to the bull market now. It's getting very, very exciting. And when it comes to the new administration as well, I'm sure you'll have a lot to say there. I want to get into that too, which is quite exciting.
Well, thank you very much. One of the things that you were telling me about is you offer all the sophisticated tools that you'd expect in exchange. You provide stop loss orders, limit orders, all those tricks that you can help protect yourself and kind of automate your investing scheme, as well as supporting people, dollar cost averaging in. It would be good to talk about the U.S. regulatory and tax environment and how that highlights, I think, some of the unique specialties of Caleb & Brown. One of the issues that just came to my mind as you were talking is there has been a lot of concern about the anti-money laundering regulations. Last year, under the Biden administration, the anti-money laundering agency for the U.S., it's called FinCEN, made a policy statement that for banks, all transactions involving cryptocurrency exchanges are considered highest risk. And now that means that banks will have to do extra due diligence anytime there's a transaction with a cryptocurrency exchange. And banks don't like this. I mean, they don't like the anti-money laundering regulations. I mean, the banks are crushed by the anti-money laundering regulations. And yeah, they have automation, but extra due diligence means somebody physically has to get involved. So doing that transfer really increases the cost and the financial liability to the bank if they inappropriately approve a transfer. And so I've had clients who have just been canceled by the anti-money laundering regulations. And part of the anti-money laundering regulations involve if you're politically exposed. And I mean, one of the big issues that came up when Donald Trump was speaking to the World Economic Forum, he raised the issue that banks had canceled his wife's bank account and his son's bank account, Barron Trump's, had canceled the bank accounts. Now, when you get canceled, you're like cut out of the financial system.
Yes.
You can really destroy you financially if you just can't get money out of bank. ATMs aren't giving you anything. Very destructive. Now, what you're transferring though with Caleb & Brown, it's an international transfer, and Caleb & Brown is just seen as a brokerage. So the money transfers from the U.S. to Caleb & Brown are not really seen as cryptocurrency exchanges because Caleb & Brown does some other things besides crypto. So it doesn't appear that way. It's not subject. The systems that the banks use to determine whether a company or a recipient would be crypto-based, is not going to see that with Caleb & Brown. So it's a great way to prevent yourself from losing your on-ramp and off-ramp in the crypto market in the U.S. So always, be careful about how you move your money. You might want to consider Caleb & Brown if you're going to on-ramp or off-ramp. Another really big thing with cryptocurrency regulations is there was a bill passed in 2021. It's called the Inflation Reduction Act, which is always a misnomer. But so it involved the regulation of cryptocurrencies in requiring U.S. crypto exchanges and brokerages to issue a 1099 DA. Now, this is a standard tax form that people get all the time. In the month of January, people receive these letters for their W-2, which is for salary, and 1099 for any other type of income. And they're getting more and more of these. The 1099 is a vehicle by which people that pay others have to report that payment to the IRS. So it's not merely that you got a copy of a 1099 from a brokerage, but the IRS got a copy as well. Now, this has been happening for 10 years or more in the stock in market area. It's called a 1099B for brokerage, but the new one is 1099DA for digital assets. So if you're trading on Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, Robinhood, any of the couple dozen U.S. based exchanges, you will receive in January of 2026 a 1099 DA, which is basically a spreadsheet listing all your buys and sells. However, in the first year, next year, it will not have the buy prices. It'll just have the sell prices that'll be reported to the IRS. And then in the following year, 2027, the sell prices or the cost basis will be included. So now the IRS is getting a real good picture about everybody's trading behavior. Now, most traders are basically untrusting of the government and don't want the government to have that information, but it's going to be required. I don't think these laws apply to you at Caleb and Brown, Sam, because you guys are not U.S. based. I mean, you have you receive and are willing to entertain U.S. traders, but you don't have the 1099 reporting obligations. Is that right?
Yeah, thanks for detailing a lot of that as well. There's a lot of information that the whole crypto community needs to be aware of, no matter what jurisdiction they're in. I work with over 30 different countries, so clients from over 30 different countries. And over the last few years, there have been a lot of changes in all the different countries we're working with. And we have a legal team to have their finger on the pulse with all those changes happening. Now, for US clients, for example, we actually have US-based bank accounts now for domestic transfers to make things a lot easier. We're an Australian company still, but we've developed money transmitter licenses in most states within the US for like our future, just like safety, a future safety net for regulation as well. But when it comes to clients sending funds to us, it very much, we're seeing very quickly a lot of changes with these banks when it comes to their internal policies, their questions on transfers, and it obviously comes from the head down. It comes from government down to the banks, and then it goes into the micro transfers. So the intention behind this, it might be stated as AML, CTF regulation, but at the end of the day, the crypto space and the majority of transactions within the crypto space are very much just everyday people investing in the market. It's not as heavily used for a lot of money laundering. Yes, these AML, CTF policies are extremely important to have in place. We have them in place for all clients that come through looking to purchase crypto and whatnot. However, you can really see when there's another agenda at play, especially if you move out of the US. Let's say if you look at Canada. Canada's just recently, for exchanges within the country, put a maximum of, I think it's like 40,000 Canadian dollars you can put into cryptocurrency in total, and then that's very limited to a select few assets as well. And what cryptocurrency is, as we know, is it's like an asset class where you can have sovereignty of your own wealth, and it's very much outside of the chessboard when it comes to usual transactions and whatnot. So it's definitely something that the government wants to get back into their site, and we're going to see a lot of changes there. With the Trump administration, hopefully it can progress whereby there's no capital gains tax on cryptocurrency. That's just going to be a game changer for the space. And but on your question on us and clients working with us, we don't report on your behalf. We're an Australian company that you're working with, but we can provide you with transaction summaries and everything you need for your reporting. And that's when you come into play, because a lot of clients come through to us. That's the first time getting into cryptocurrency. They have all their transaction data and they're wanting to report to the IRS. And what happens is that they may be missing out on a lot of different tax structures or a lot of different benefits they could get from working with someone like yourself. And whether it may be a case of tax loss harvesting they need to inquire about, or when it comes to movement of assets and just reporting it nice and clearly so you don't run into these problems down the line. And then even the letters that get sent to individuals, you're able to help out.
True. I mean, because a lot of people that use Caleb and Brown also use some other places. Maybe they're doing DeFi or doing other investment methods. And our company is the number one firm in the U.S. Doing gain calculation, full service gain calculation, return prep, and defending people in audits. We've defended over 50 people in IRS audits of their cryptocurrency reporting. We've taken 4 cases to tax court, and we've won all 4 of them against the IRS. So we know how to help a client be victorious in their reporting, and
Yes.
oftentimes we get them refunds because we do the gain calculation right. I mean, anybody can use an online site to to calculate their gains, a token tax, crypto tax calculator, Coinly, but if we can calculate it better, it pretty much pays for our services, and our services are quite reasonable. We fix price them, and we know exactly what we're doing. We have just an amazing team. So
That's amazing.
One of the interesting things that's come up recently is from the Trump administration is they have come out with a executive order on digital assets. Now, this executive order basically instructs the Secretary of the Treasury to work with other departments within the government to work out a comprehensive strategy for cryptocurrency regulation in such a way that it promotes. Now, the Biden administration had one of these, but it basically gave them an opportunity to just crush cryptocurrency investment. As we all know, Trump has got the completely different attitude and wants to see the U.S. be a leader in cryptocurrency. So they're really trying to, how can we open this up? So it involves the SEC. I think it'll have to involve the way FinCEN interacts and enforces, regulations on any money laundering with crypto, but also tax regulations and other departments, especially related to the creation of businesses and commodity regulation and these sorts of things. But that's like a 90-day report. So what are we talking about? Beginning of May, you might get a report, and then actions will have to be taken on it. So you're into the summertime before anything really happens full scale on crypto reporting. Secondly, there's a lot of talk about changing the tax laws. Now, we got Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump, who's been running around saying that he's talking to his dad about having zero capital gains tax on U.S.-based cryptocurrencies. And that gets, of course, people really excited. Not really sure what it all means, but they still get excited. And I think that's an interesting proposition. I think the Trump administration is looking at some really creative ways to change tax, but taxes in the U.S. are changed by Congress. So it's not something that Donald Trump can do by executive order. It has to be a law passed, and that's an ugly process in the U.S. and can take a long time. Probably, again, you're into the summertime or fall even before that happens. So it remains to be seen.
Yes.
Personally, I don't think 0% capital gain. I think it might be a change in how capital gains are taxed, but it won't be 0%.
Yeah, like when in the history, for example, when it comes to taxation from governments, have they reversed certain things? It's very, very, very rare. And the ultimate goal, everything eventually turns to tax. The more transactions you have on a general scale across the economy, it all eventually trickles into tax. It's just a matter of how quickly does it do that. And
yeah,
with,
capital gains tax is $1 trillion of revenue a year. It's
Yeah.
massive. So, and Trump's trying to pay down the debt. I don't think he's going to give this one away rather easily. Secondly, it's 75% of all capital gains tax are paid by the upper 1% of income earners. Okay, so that would be 90% of all capital gain tax paid by the top 10% of income earners. So, you're talking about clearly a tax that benefits, or a tax change that benefits the wealthy. And of course, that will go down very poorly in the media. So, yes. That's real doubtful. And then, but my other feeling on it is he wants to reduce this to a 0% tax only on U.S.-based crypto and blockchain companies, whatever those are. And okay, let's just say a company is U.S.-based, it's a U.S.-based LLC, and what they can simply do is tokenize every other asset in the world, all right, basically making it a U.S. token, but it's basically a wrapped version of BNB or you name the token. Secondly, they can tokenize all stocks, and in doing that, they would eliminate taxes on stocks. They could tokenize bonds. They could tokenize real estate. Any physical property could be tokenized. You're basically wiping out capital gains in the U.S. for any asset once it's tokenized. So, so just opening the door a little bit is going to open it up for everything. And then, there are some interesting benefits if that were done. It would, and these could be selling points, is it would draw, since all U.S. investors would no longer be taxed on cryptocurrency, non-U.S. investors would be attracted to buying and selling these American-based assets instead of the native assets that they could get, on Binance, because one of the benefits for non-U.S. citizens is that the U.S. is the biggest tax haven in the world. They don't report capital gains to anybody, any other country. So it's the best way for non-U.S. citizens to hide their money, and this makes it very easy. And it also would bring all financial transactions into the U.S. because why would you trade on Binance? You would just trade on the U.S. exchange, which is trading all the tokenized versions of all those other coins. I mean, this could co-opt the entire financial market. Now, there's a lot of talk about crypto ushering in finance 2.0, and this would be a way to do it. And in doing this, you would also disintermediate the banks and the typical brokerage houses, and so it would really bring the U.S. financial system, the stock market system, into modern age. I mean, a lot of people complain about the stock market itself being closed on the weekends and on evenings.
Yes.
This would fix all that. Everything's fixed. In fact, it would make it irrelevant. So, this would, and then this would catapult U.S. banks into a high volume provider of funds, because you wouldn't have these delays that you experience with the ACH and SWIFT transfers.
Yes.
So this would be the way, I think, to sell a possible 0% tax, and it would co-opt everything. And this is what Donald Trump really wants to do. He wants the U.S. to be, the leader, and this could be a dramatic way to do it. It would be very Trumpian.
Exactly. And on your point of ACH transfers and different banking, the whole speed at which transfers are made or the movement of fiat currency, this is when a lot of the popularity behind the payment sector within the crypto space has come about. And when it comes to XRP, XLM, Quant, HBAR, Valor, all those different coins within that sector have been gaining a lot of traction. And half of that is to do with, obviously, the XRP SEC case starting to come to an end, the change in administration, and the change in the SEC chairman, and even the SEC's general outlook. And that's why we've seen, last year we saw Bitcoin do exceptionally well because of the ETF. It was somewhat of like an isolated event. The rest of the crypto space not doing too much. And for the first time ever, this whole entire sector, the payment sector, has just done exceptionally well. And it's crazy to see. And hopefully that can gain some more traction over this cycle. And hopefully we see those types of movements in these other sectors like the DeFi space and gaming and AI and smart contract platforms, competitors to Ethereum and whatnot. And all these different discussions as well over this year is something I love getting involved in with different clients. And a lot of our clients will come through to us. They start in one specific sector. They know about one specific asset. And then over a couple of weeks of conversations, they're jumping into a whole range of different things because of, once you get skin in the game as well, it forces yourself to get some further oversight and get your finger on the pulse a bit more in the crypto space. So it's a lot of fun. This year is going to be very interesting.
I think it is. I was talking to one of my colleagues, Liam, and he was saying, a year ago, 4 years ago, last market, we had, 30,000 coins out there. Now we're into millions of coins and memes, and not even to mention NFTs, of course, smart contract of diversity. There's a lot of complexity and sophistication, but fundamentally, most of the money runs through the major coins, the major tokens that are out there, the major blockchains. And I think these are the ones that are going to survive, because we're going to need more than one blockchain to handle the future of of payment systems. And I think, and these are the blockchains and coins and tokens that you guys at Caleb and Brown specialize in. So I think
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
this is the place to be. You're in the hot spot.
Yeah, so a lot of people come to the space, or they've been to the space for a while, but they very much have an asset base in crypto that they've just been sitting on. You've got your own profession, your own industries that you have knowledge on, and a lot of people they're in that kind of profile where they've got their industries, they've got their profession, and then cryptocurrency was a small thing. Now it's a big thing in their life, and then there's like this difference between the asset base they hold and the knowledge they might have, and we want to kind of close that gap. And in the crypto space, it's so overwhelming. You've got, as you mentioned, millions of tokens, and half of that is because people can just create tokens on websites, and they try and just like win the lottery of trying to get a token that can pump and whatnot. But if you scrape all that out of the way, you've got to select like top 300 coins. And within those top 300 that we work with, you can split that up into different sectors. And, Bitcoin being like store of value, then Ethereum being smart contract platforms. Then there's competitors to Ethereum like Solana and Sui and a whole range of others that we work with that are gaining a lot more. A lot of capital is leaving Ethereum, for example, and entering these other alternatives. And it's good to get this oversight and see what the next narrative might be. And then you've got probably 5 or 6 main sectors in the space that we really want to look into over this year ahead, and especially this first quarter as we heat up quite a lot. So it's good to get that simplicity, forget the noise, and then you don't have to overwhelm yourself with thinking there's so much knowledge to attain in this crypto space. It really is. You can simplify it with us, and that's what I'm here for.
Well, I will, in full disclosure to my audience, I am a client of Caleb and Brown. I've traded on their exchange, but very satisfied with my experience. And I invite people to go and learn. We'll have the URL in the notes, Caleb, CALEB, and spelled out, and then brown.com. And why don't you tell people how they can reach you if they want to talk about how to start their relationship at Caleb and Brown?
Of course. Well, my email is simply sam@calebandbrown.com, all spelled out. If you were to sign up with the link here, just mention my name or mention the Clinton Donnelly show, and I'd love to work with you directly. So you've got a face to the name, and then when we jump on a call, you can kind of picture this head. But
it's so big. I mean, like Coinbase, Kraken, Robinhood. I mean, there are no faces; they're faceless.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're not accountable to anybody. You're hoping that if you do a chat session with somebody, you might talk to the same person next time. But when you're dealing with Caleb Brown, all their faces are on the website. You've met Sam, and you're dealing with a company that's going to give you a higher level of service than these high volume providers. That service that you need and respect and will appreciate when you're doing your trading. So thank you very much, Sam, for being on the show. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And I hope you sign up. I wish you all the best in your trading.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.